Joining us now to discuss, political analyst Mark Halperin and host of Front and Center with Jacquie Jordan podcast, Jacquie Jordan. Thank you so much for coming on here. And Mark, I'll start with you. You know, it's maybe some of our viewers don't know Brian Stelter is the media reporter, focusing solely really on media for CNN. Many people are questioning why Brian didn't report on this earlier, something that was happening in that network for years, and it is widely rumored that these employees knew what was going on here.
Sean, look, I think probably a lot of viewers do know him because many people on the right have seized on Brian Stelter's work over the last couple of years and raised questions about it as part of CNN's move dramatically to from being an objective news organization to being one that is left-wing. And so while this current story deserves scrutiny and questions about why Brian Stelter didn't necessarily report aggressively on his own boss, I think the wider question, I think of interest and public interest, is his full body of work. And I think people should look at his full body of work and ask the same question, which is he objectively reporting for the public interest, or has he been a part of Jeff Zucker's publicity machine at CNN?
Yeah, fair question. He has a show on Sunday, like a full hour, where he could have focused in on some of this internal reporting, the so-called open secret at the time. But Jacquie, a lot of people are wondering, what this major media shakeup will mean for the cable network, especially at a time when perhaps they wanted to go back to a more newsworthy approach instead of more opinionated talking heads.
Well, I think it's very fascinating, and I think that a lot of Newsmax viewers would agree that we're watching the communist news network eat each other up from the inside out, which is kind of long overdue. But I would also say watch the sleight of hand that's going to happen here, because CNN does need to dump their talent in order to get ready and clean house for the upcoming elections. CNN has served its purpose. It has not reported objectified media over the past couple of years. They have called Americans domestic terrorists. They have scared people with misinformation. They often correct it later. And anybody, including myself, who has worked in a media place or newsroom, we all know about the affairs that are going on. And usually it's only the wives at home that don't know it's happening.
Yeah, Mark Halperin, back to the point that we were making earlier in regards to the media reporter there at CNN. Jerry Dunleavy from the D.C. Examiner tweeted this, and we'll show it to you. CG2, it says this: Brian, can you include whether you knew about the Zucker stuff or not? And if you did know, then why you failed to report it out? And if you didn't know, then why you didn't know about something that was allegedly an open secret at CNN? Again, that question from him as well. And you've got to think of the time where CNN championing the reporting of Me Too, of Time's Up, when all of this is happening, they're at their own network, and it was not talked about.
Yeah, Sean, look, I think it's a bigger story than just the part you're focusing on, although the part you're focusing on is a big part of it, which is this question that people have raised, which is not just in terms of protecting CNN. Can you expect Brian Stelter to be the most aggressive reporter in the world about his own boss? I don't think that's probably a reasonable expectation. But the larger question of using your media reporters to attack your enemies and to protect your friends is something that I think people will be and should be looking at in the wake of what's just occurred.
Yeah, and then, of course, we'll wonder, with someone new at the helm of this network, if their direction of coverage will change. Here's a soundbite, though, from Ted Koppel saying CNN's ratings surge, that was from Trump. Take a listen.
Donald Trump has been very, very good for baseball. He has been wonderful for the industry. Your boss acknowledged as much a number of months ago during the campaign.
Les Moonves.
Donald Trump, huh?
It was Les Moonves who acknowledged
Les Moonves also acknowledged it, but so did the head of CNN.
But that means what? If ratings are up, that means what?
The ratings are up. It means you can't do without Donald Trump. You would be lost without Donald Trump.
Well, that is what he says.
Ted, you know that's not true.
CNN's ratings would be in the toilet without Donald Trump.
Ted Koppel there with those comments, Jackie. And as we've seen, once the former president, 45, has left office, there's also been a decline in CNN's ratings. Are you drawing a conclusion between the two?
Yes, CNN's main story, Donald Trump, the main story to hate, Donald Trump, has left the scene, and AT&T has distanced themselves from their property of CNN as well. And Donald Trump was everything that even into the Joe Biden presidency, CNN was still screaming after Donald Trump. But the old adage that our grandmothers taught us, if somebody's gossiping about you and not saying nice things, the best thing to do is get quiet and say nothing. And without having had Donald Trump to feed off of the last year, we've seen what CNN has revealed itself to really be.
Yeah, we'll end it there. And just Mark Halpern, I know you said my focus was off. I just want you to understand as well, back to you, there are multiple parts of this story. So that's just one of the questions that I have. But I'm limited in 4 minutes of time. Yeah, no, I understand. But I also want to ask, too, how Allison still has her job there. What's next for her? I mean, this is, is that still appropriate? It's just... this deserves, I think, 2 segments. Mark Halpern, Jacquie Jordan joining us live. Thank you very much. All right, stay with us more after this break.